Hey everyone, it's a dose of Dr. Drew.
Hey everybody, welcome. I see you all piling in here. I'll give you just a moment to get in. I'm very excited about today's guest. Before I introduce her, I want to remind you that our friends at Blue Microphone have just changed everything about this production. I mean, look at me now, and the sound you hear and the ease with which I just can't say enough about the Blue Mic guys and how they have helped us make this audio experience so much better. I'm going to give you their website to make sure I get that right. Is it bluemic.com? I believe so. Let me double check. To scroll through. Yeah, it's bluemic.com, BLUEMIC.com. They've been around for 25 years. They've helped everyone. If audio is what you're creating, these are the guys that can help you. It's just sensational. I can't say enough. And they say get started to start telling your story. Okay, everybody, welcome into the Restream chat. We're going to do a little coronavirus update here as part of what we're talking about. We've got a very special guest, Dr. Cate Shanahan. She was trained in biology, then biochemistry and genetics at Cornell graduate program, then went to medical school and studied ethnobotany, and healthiest practices, then been practicing family medicine for, I think, over a decade now. Is that right, Cate?
Make sure she's on. There you are.
Several decades. I'm old, Dr. Drew.
Several decades. So you're like me. You're like me. Do you remember the HIV epidemic? I was in the middle of that.
I do remember that, yes. And some of the scientific fraud around like diagnoses and cures are, making me hope we've passed that kind of era, that we're not doing the same sort of thing with some of the claims around coronavirus.
Right. I noticed you tweeted something about hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin, worried that these were sort of spurious claims. My understanding is there's some peer-reviewed stuff going on. Is that wrong?
There may be. The one thing that I was actually referring to was just posted like on a Google Share site, and it hadn't been clearly peer reviewed by anybody just yet. So it's all like hot off the press kind of scenario. Everyone's treating this as like, well, let's just get some information out there and kind of, bypass some of the channels. And I get a sense that there's a little bit of that going on. Yes. And it can lead to confusion if you don't know exactly what you're reading.
So Dr. Bruce Heischober, just while we're speaking, texted me that he has picked up 120 tablets of the 200 milligrams hydroxychloroquine. So I know I'm going to get my supply for my patients if there should be any shortages or run. And I'm asking him how to dose it because I've not seen any dosing. I've looked everywhere for dosing instructions and I just don't see it. Do you?
I saw something about 200 milligrams once a day. Which is basically, if I remember right, what we use for ocular lupus.
Yes, that was we used to use 200 milligrams sort of as a background dose for rheumatoid arthritis too. He's saying it's 400 twice a day, then 200 twice a day. This is hot off the presses. Also, don't rely on this. Great. This is one physician to another, but Bruce is a pretty good source of information. I did see what was alleged to have been a peer-reviewed journal that had not yet been published last night that looked remarkable. And I also, Cate, I'll forward you, there was a really good scientific paper on the antiviral mechanisms of Plaquenil. I was really surprised how well that was worked out.
No, that's great. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible how quickly this stuff is happening. Yeah. And, I hope there's a lot of this sense of collaboration now.
Yes.
That it's around the whole world and everyone's affected.
So the other thing that I don't get enough to talk, I can't talk to my peers enough about the situation we're in. I feel like we all have to share and be sharing publicly our thoughts and just sort of, the public needs to hear from us right now. And you, I think, tweeted something, was it this morning? About your concerns about the extreme reaction. And Dr. Paul Offit had the same thing yesterday. And I just wanted to get your thoughts. What is it you're concerned about?
I'm concerned that we're going to be creating a scenario where we're destroying lives economically out of this fear of the virus. I mean, certainly the virus is scary and people can die.
Yes.
But I think you can make a scary situation worse by acting without really thinking and acting reflexively. And my sense of some of the stuff that, like the fact that we are maybe doing that, comes from one of the first things that closed was a couple of universities, like Harvard University. So sure, I understand, students congregate a lot in big groups, but these are like the healthiest people that we have, I would think, in this country right now. And they're also, we know that the elderly are more affected by this particular virus and, of course, more likely to have the comorbid conditions. So it just didn't make sense that the first thing that we started doing was closing off universities where at the most, people would be have to be in like gathering for maybe an hour, like not even an entire day. And it's just like, why did we do that? Why didn't we first start talking about measures around nursing homes and ways to kind of truly quarantine that off, and also just like really just trying to drill down into who is at risk and what is the risk before just reacting the way we have. We just kind of mirrored a little bit of what they did in China, then we kind of made fun of what they did in China, and then we started doing some of it ourselves. And it's just like, I feel like we don't have like an adult in the room in a way. It's just almost these ideas, and then things start happening and everybody's panicking. Even at the CDC, I mean, I know there's really well-trained epidemiologists and they've been through this and they analyze the numbers, but I feel like we need more than the usual guidance because nothing like this has ever happened before. And I think that means we need to be much more cautious about what we say. And especially when we do these somewhat draconian things of telling restaurants that they can't have more than 50% patrons, or in some cases, they just have to shut down. And,
where are you living? Where are you now?
I'm in Florida.
Okay. So in New York and California and Washington, things are, and Nevada now too, everything's shut down, a complete shutdown. You're not allowed to do, no services, no hotels, no restaurants, no nothing. That's all over. That's all shut down. So the states with the highest concentrations have completely locked down.
So here in